We used to dread going into big cities with our dogs, but we came up with a solution.
And we're going to tell you all about it on this
Midweek Update. Welcome back, everyone.
Hello.
So we're going to tell you what purchase we made last summer that made visiting cities so much easier with Truman and Bess.
Yes, so much.
But before we get to that, we thought we would give you our normal midweek update. And no, we did not record this back in January. What you see behind us, it's actually happening right now in April in Northeast Indiana.
Isn't that sad?
Yeah, and it's going to get sadder because would you believe they're actually calling for the potential of 4 inches of snow Thursday night, Friday morning. Plus. I know. We'll see if it actually happens. But honestly, I can't believe it's actually accumulating right now. I thought the ground was warm enough that we wouldn't see it.
Yeah, it's there.
Now, this won't stay around very long because they're calling for above 40-degree weather later today with rain. So that'll wash this away. But then come Thursday night, if we actually get 4 inches, it could take a little bit of time to get rid of that. So crazy weather, crazy times, and we hope you are all staying safe and healthy out there.
Exactly.
So this past weekend was Easter, and again, it was not a
Typical?
normal. No, it was not.
I'm sure not for you either. A little different.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I think we were still able to obviously communicate with family, but traditionally we always get together with family and friends on Easter, and so that was a little different.
It was.
And I ended up smoking a ham.
So good.
We're going to be eating ham for the next month.
Just the two of us.
I don't know how big that ham was. I had actually purchased it at Walmart a few weeks ago when I did the pickup shopping where I placed the order. So you just get the ham they give you.
Right, it was huge.
It was huge, but it came out very good.
We've had a lot of ham.
Yeah. So we did end up giving some to my dad in Maryland, and we've have frozen some because we just knew there was no way we could eat all of it without literally hating ham.
Yeah, we did the porch drop-off.
Yeah. So, and then because we couldn't have anybody over, we ended up sitting on the front porch Sunday with the fire pit going and just kind of hung out. And
It was nice weather. It wasn't snowing that day.
No, that day it was actually pretty decent.
Pretty sunny and pretty. Yeah.
And then
we've had to make another grocery run. Looking in at our time frame, we had about two.
It'd been 2 weeks. It'd been 2 weeks since we had went last.
Had bulked up on food, and we needed just a few things, and we debated, and we decided to head on into Aldi.
Well, you say we only needed a few things, but somehow I spent $150
well, I think
again.
you bulked up on some more sweets.
Well, I did. We were running low on sweets, but. We did not need things like orange juice and milk and bread. We still had plenty of that from 2 weeks ago, but there was just some other stuff where canned fruit. We were totally out of fresh vegetables and fresh fruit because they just don't last that long, to be honest. So, and I think we both were having an urge for some salads.
Yes, because we had run out of things to make salad, and I like salad. So
so that was, and I'll be honest, when I went to Aldi, there was more cars in the parking lot than I would have liked to have seen. But when I went in, they were sanitizing the carts. I actually wore a mask and rubber gloves like last time. And for the most part, there was no issues with people around me. The real issue was checking out.
Yes.
They only had one person doing checkout, and I don't know if that's because people are calling in.
Or they just kind of cut it back to that.
I don't know if they've cut back staffing. And so the line literally went from the front of the store all the way to the back of the store. And I bet I stood in line for 20 to 30 minutes to check out. But again, most people were doing a pretty good job with social distancing and respecting your space. And
when you said some people up ahead of you had pretty full carts,
they did.
Loaded up.
Yeah, I think some were kind of smaller carts, but some were pretty big. And mine honestly was pretty good size too. And I did pick up a bottle of wine that I think you're gonna like. For our Friday night wind down. So anyway, that's pretty much it as far as what has been going on here at Tall Pine Lodge. Again, it's just staying in, trying to stay safe, trying to stay healthy. And
sane.
Yeah. And hopefully get back out camping yet this summer.
That would be nice, yes. And summer's our time, so. Yep.
All right, so let's get to the topic of the week.
Yep.
Which is an accessory item that we purchased for Truman and Bess this summer. So in the past, when we had went to big cities with Delaney, Delaney hated cities.
The sounds, she wasn't used to the sirens and just the commotion of the
yeah,
vehicles.
She hated it. She was miserable.
I just remember the Boston trip. It was horrible.
Well, for starters, it was like 90 degrees out in downtown Boston.
Yes, it was really hot.
And she locked him up. And when I say locked him up, that little Cocker Spaniel, I've never seen.
She was strong.
She was strong, and she literally put on the brakes and refused to move.
Yes.
And so I ended up carrying this 30-pound Cocker Spaniel down the, whatever they call it, the Heritage Trail, because we wanted to see downtown Boston. With Truman, he also, I think this is probably true for most pets, they don't necessarily like the noise of big towns or the commotion of people. But that first summer, we carried Truman. He was so little, I carried him in a papoose, and that worked out fine in Seattle. Yeah. But last summer, we had both Truman and Bess. Truman was too big for the papoose, and he didn't like it. And honestly, Bess, she was light enough, it was easy to carry. But we finally decided to break down and make a purchase that we thought would help us if we wanted to go into cities with these two. And so we ended up purchasing a pet stroller.
Yes, never thought I'd ever have a pet stroller. But
no. In fact, I think we've kind of made fun of people that had pet strollers.
We did.
But now we have a much better understanding of why.
Yeah, it's so much easier with these two.
Yeah, and you know who we can thank for getting the pet stroller. Yeah. Our friends Kevin and Karen out in Washington. Yeah. We were camping with them in Leavenworth, Washington, and we just happened to go into a small pet store that had them. And I was looking at them, and but they're kind of pricey. I'm not going to lie. Pet strollers, seems like anything pet is more expensive than if you buy the child version.
Right, they were pricey.
So the stroller we bought, I think we ended up paying around $180 with tax for it. I believe that's what it was.
They gave us a good deal on it.
She gave us a great deal. This store was so small, but it was packed to the rafters. Called her husband, and he said, you need to drop your price below Amazon price. Because
you have too much stuff in your store.
You have too much stuff in your store, and you have way too many strollers. So she made us a really good offer, and I wanted to think about it. So we walked down the street, met up with Kevin and Karen, and we're telling them. And, Karen was the one that said, you guys would enjoy your time in cities much more, and the pets would be so much more happy because they would feel safe. And so Kevin and I ended up walking back, and I bought that stroller. And I remember thinking, this is nuts.
But then we used it right away in a restaurant because that's one of the things we wanted to be able to do.
And if you remember, I said, if we're going to do this, we're going to do it before lunch because I want to have a peaceful lunch. Because Delaney was great because she was older. She would literally, when we would eat at restaurants outside, she would go under the table, and when we'd leave, people would be like, they had a dog. Like these two are young. And so there was no eating peacefully.
No.
So Kevin and I walked back. We purchased a stroller. And I have to be honest, that thing was a blessing the rest of the trip.
Oh, my goodness.
Because it allows both of them to be contained, so they feel so much safer. We just push them down the sidewalk or down the street. And it gives them, so the one we purchased, and there's lots of different ones out there. We purchased one by a company called TWD Gear. And I'll put the actual link to the one we purchased down below in the description so you can see it. But understand, there's lots of variations of these out there. But, it's a combination of cloth and mesh, and it gives them so much openness as far as...
they can see out all over the place. Front, back, top, side. They have so much ventilation throughout the whole thing. It's just easy for them to see out. It's good for them.
Right. And I really like the fact that we can load them one of two ways. The whole front will actually open up almost accordion style. So that makes it real easy.
You can jump right in that way.
Yep, or jump out. Or if you don't want to go that way, the way that works best for us is it actually has a big back door that opens up. And so we'll open it, they'll run in, and then we close that back door. So those are the two ways that you can get into it. And I also like the fact, Patty, that it has that bottom pad
for them.
It's a little softer. It's kind of like a quilted soft material.
Real soft for them. They love that.
And you like it because you can take it out.
I can wash it. It has Velcro strips that just Velcro it down. I can easily take it out and wash it, which I need to do again with it. But
and it does come, the one we purchased, because it is big enough for 2 smaller dogs, it actually comes with 2 straps so that you can attach right to their collar or their harness just to keep them safe. So when you do go to open the door, they can't just run out. And I like that they have that built-in safety feature.
And a really nice feature that I like too is that the tires. The tires closest to me where my handle is are bigger, and the front ones are a little smaller, but the way they turn and spin, it's not hard to move this thing. You can spin this thing all the way around if you need to get to the front or the back or the side real quick like. So that's good for me, and it has a lock. That's why I like the back door. There's a foot lock where it's a brake, and I can just step on that with my foot.
Locks
that way
them up.
It reminds me to make sure it's locked before they get in and out so it doesn't roll away from me.
And those bigger back tires are also nice when you go off-roading per se, like on a trail or something.
If it's not, pavement all the time, we can do a little more gravelly road and it's easy to move on it.
And they do sell them with the single front tire, but we actually like this model, and it has the 2 tires on it. And again, I think that's maybe a personal preference or how you're going to use it. The handle is also nice.
Yes, it's got a nice grip on it.
Very padded foam.
And you can adjust the position for your height. Where you want to hold. And it also, I thought it was cute on the ad. It said there's 2 cup holders for the humans up top, so you can put if you have a beverage or something.
Yeah, and that whole tray, which has the 2 cup holders in it, and then it has a little storage compartment, so we carry treats in there. But that whole tray can be removed if you want to. The other nice thing is the top mesh. And this mesh is not your typical thin mesh. This is a heavy
more
duty.
Sturdy for dog claws.
Yeah, because of dog claws. But that top will actually unzip, so you can turn it into like a sunroof. And so Truman tends to like to, when we're going down the street, he'll actually perch his little head out and
like he's in a parade.
It's also a great way to. I know what you're going to say.
We call it the treat hatch.
Yep.
So because we had to kind of teach him how to be in it and that it was okay and safe. And so with our little trainer treats, every now and then we'd unzip and give them a little treat. And there were times, especially like in West Yellowstone after we got it, that we went out to dinner with Russ and Carrie from the Roads We Roam, and they were in it, and they fell asleep in it.
Yeah.
They got so comfortable in it that they were just happy. It's good for Bess in another aspect because she, at least last year, was a little leery about everybody wanting to touch her. Because she wasn't certain, because a lot of even kids, they're just
you get right in there,
right in her face. So this helps her feel more comfortable because she would just claw me and try to climb up my shoulder because she was just afraid of all the hands coming at her because she is so gosh darn cute.
And the other thing is, it is kind of big, but it collapses down to a much smaller footprint. And it's really easy. It's just, on this particular model, it's just 2 latches, 1 on each side. You just push in, and then it just kind of collapses down. And so it's...
That's good for us, because we need to maximize all our space that we have when we travel.
Absolutely. So anyway, we have found that this just makes taking these guys out and about in cities much easier. And quite honestly, both of these guys are a little prone to heat stroke.
Yes.
And so if we do want to go out on a trail, we can actually throw them in that, and that way they're not huffing and puffing.
Well, not really throwing. We'll
set them in there. So
I know what you meant, just teasing you.
So anyway, just curious, how many of you have actually used a pet stroller for your pets before? Let us know down below in the comments, and then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to link a video here for you on some tips on how we travel with our pets to try to help you out if you also want to travel with your pets. Till next time, everybody, we'll see ya
on down the road.
Good night.
Say bye-bye.
Say bye-bye.
Say bye-bye.